hit the button and hope for the best.
Isn't that what we always do?
I mean, we just
The
hit
ul
the button. We don't hope for anything.
it is the ultimate crapshoot. It is raw and unfiltered.
Whatever comes out, comes out.
This is true. That's why I like doing this, I think. I think that's why.
Yeah, you
So,
get all of it. Minus maybe a little bit, but not really.
not really. It's usually the giggling at the end that I cut out a little bit. But other than that,
Yeah,
I think you pretty much get everything.
because I got stupid jokes.
No, they're not stupid. They make me smile. They're lovely and appreciated. Right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
with that, welcome back or welcome,
Welcome. Welcome
everyone.
for the first time, if this is your first time.
It is. And if not, welcome back. And your old hat, we're happy to have you here.
Welcome to our old hat.
Oh,
No? No. Okay.
I mean, it could be an old hat. Okay, on that note, I did watch a video about a lady who like thrifted a bunch of like legit like hats. Not like
Yes.
baseball hats, but like little old lady hats, right? Because they were a part of an estate sale. And she was like, I feel like everybody else who was bidding on them wasn't going to do them justice. She's like, so now I'm going to wear all of them. And like, as she's doing this video, she's like putting on different, like the different, and they are bonkers. They're very much hat
Yes.
box hats, right? But
Yes.
your old hat comment made me think of that. And she's like, I don't know where I'll wear them. I don't know when. She's like, but you better believe it's probably going to be around my house and I'm going to be wearing all of them. She's like, because I'm going to use
Wherever.
these. Exactly.
Yes.
So,
Do them justice. Get your
whatever
groceries
hat you
in one.
like, right? Whatever hat you like, we're here for it.
That's right.
Which has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about today. So, welcome to our tangent. But today, as we kind of talked about last time, we're talking audiobooks. And we have very
Yes.
interesting opinions. And I would like to give a quick shout out because I heard that someone watched our last episode and they were like, "Oh, I'm sewing," and so I put on, I put in a book. So somebody has decided that they're going to also listen,
Yay.
and kind of take your advice on like, hey, when I'm doing hands things and I can't necessarily turn
Yes.
pages, throw a book in there.
Yes. Yay. I feel validated. Thank you. This feels good.
So I thought I would share that note with you. That somebody was like, "Yes, I will do that," and like literally within the week, they're like, "Nope, doing it."
Yes, yes. And I will tell you, as we kick this off, we had toyed with talking about audiobooks like a year ago.
Hmm.
When we kind of kicked this off, we were like, we could. And then both of us were like, nah, like it's just not,
Not.
it's not for us right now. So it'll be curious to see. Because what was your initial opinion like a year ago when we talked about this?
So, my initial opinion was the fact that listening to people read stories is very soothing to me. And so I go to sleep. And so
Yes.
it's hard. Like it's hard for me to, or it was hard for me to listen to something and like pay attention. Because if I
Mhm.
throw, like, if I'm cooking or if I'm washing dishes or if I'm like doing housework and I throw like a true crime podcast in, I feel like I don't really have to pay that much attention because somebody died, somebody did it, somebody's in trouble. Like it's very easy to follow. I feel
Yes.
like with a book though, I have to pay attention or I'm gonna miss things. It's
Yeah.
like the footnote conundrum.
Uh-huh. When you
I
don't
feel
read
like,
them,
right, I feel like I have to listen actually to understand what's going on or I'm going to miss big parts of
you're
the
going to
story.
miss things.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I was like, I just can't, I know myself and I was like, I can't do it. But
Yeah.
I have given it a try. So we will get into that. So what was a
That,
year ago? Where were you?
yeah. So a year ago, I saw everybody raving about audiobooks, and I was like, I had the same opinion as you. I was like, I tried an audiobook on a cross-country trip. It was actually The Witcher, book one.
Right.
We were starting this series. And the guy's voice was so soothing that it was just like, oh, I'm gonna fall asleep. Like I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I had the same thing. I was like, oh no, I can't do this. Or I would put one in my ears and start it, and then realize I had kind of dazed out and was
That's what I'm
thinking other
saying.
things or
Yes.
like doing other things. And so my brain power was focused elsewhere, and I realized I missed. Like I was like, "Whoa, what is happening?
Why
What are
are
we
we in chapter
doing?
4?
How far back do I need to rewind
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
point?"
Yeah.
So I let other people, I kept seeing other people rave about them, but I was just like, yeah, not for me. Can't do it. And so I didn't for a long time.
But
And
now,
then,
I was gonna say now how the turns table.
but now, yeah. So I found, I think a lot of people use like Libby,
Okay.
like local library. You can check out audiobooks. California has something different. It's the California bookshelf. And so you don't
Oh,
actually have to have a library card. You just have to have this, and it basically functions the same thing.
I had no
And
idea.
so, yeah, shout out my sister. She's the one. She was like, I listen to audiobooks all the time. She started going through our stories and like looking at the books that we were posting and then seeing if she could find them on audiobook. And she's like, I
Oh, I love
listen to
that.
them in my car, like
Mm.
to and from. And I'm like, oh, okay, but like I can't.
But is it
So
the
I was like,
same?
okay. And then I kind of became obsessed with the idea of being able to check out an audiobook. I'm like, let's try it again. Like, let's go ahead and try it again. Um, and I've done this a couple different ways now. So, first, I did try listening again and realized, yeah, still like can't do it while I'm doing work, can't do it while I'm doing brain things.
Yeah.
And so kind of a trial and error. And then I found one, it was actually one of my MC Beatons. They had the audiobook, but I also had the physical copy. And so I
Okay.
read along while it was playing in my
I've
head.
heard of this. I've heard of this, and
Yes.
it sounds like something I'd be into. Was it
Yes.
was it good?
So I have mixed feelings on this
Okay.
because I do tend to read a little quicker.
That's my question. Like, am I gonna read
And
ahead? I do it
so
on videos. I do it when
I
they
was
yeah,
reading
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Yes.
Yes. Yes, I was reading ahead and I would hear it, but then I would start to block it out. And I was like, okay. So I would like speed it up. I'm like, okay, let's see where like how fast I can take it to see if it matches me, and my reading speed as I'm doing this, and
And
but
now you're
not sound
racing
like
the
a
narrator,
chipmunk.
right? Like,
Yeah,
now
I'm
I'm racing the
like,
narrator to see who's reading faster.
right, she's like reading it to me, and so that was an experience.
Okay.
It was cool, but I think I also realized that when I read, I skip the things that say like, you know, he angrily said blah blah blah. Like I don't read he angrily said because in my mind I've already like, you
Giving
know,
him a voice.
this sucks. I don't want to do this, and then I don't need to like give the
Yeah.
little stage stage comments,
No stage
because I feel
notes,
like I
no
already know
exit
that.
stage right.
No, no. So like I've already seen that in my head. So that's kind of where it got a little wonky with reading along,
Okay.
because I've seen people do this, and I was like, let's dip back in. Let me try different techniques. So I tried
I love that you
that.
tried it. I love that you tried it because it's something I've seen, but I have that
Yes.
same problem because I know that when I watch say I watch a video on YouTube and it's got captions with it, or it's got,
Yeah.
this say it's a Charlotte Dobrik, right? Is that her name? It might be her name. I don't know. But she'll
I know.
like read like a story from Reddit or whatever, and it has the text on there, but I will read ahead of where she's highlighting. And so I'm like, I wonder if that's a thing that's like, am I just destined to do that for all of them? But I've heard
It
of this
can be.
process.
Yeah. But I did speed it up a little bit and it kept up. And I feel like that helped me focus too,
Okay.
because I was reading and audiobooking.
Right.
But then I was kind of like, this kind of defeats the purpose of an
I
audiobook.
guess. But also, there are times where I'm reading like a book in my hand, but I have things to do, right? I have to go get in the car, or I have to, again, make dinner, or I have to go change the laundry, and I don't want to stop reading. So, how cool would it be to have read it and then be like, oh, I stopped on chapter 4, and so just go to the audiobook, press play on chapter 4, and then it'll keep reading to me, and I can just keep going. Like that seems like something I could get into.
Yeah, I haven't tried that.
Neither have
I
I,
have
but it
seen
seems
people talk about that.
sometimes
Yeah.
I wish I could just like throw my phone like on top of the book and be like, just read it to me because I have something to do real quick, but I'm not ready to be done reading. Like my reading
Here
session
I
is
am,
finished,
right here.
but just
Start
read
right
it to
here.
me real quick. I've even like highlighted it in my Kindle and been like, can I push a read button and say, no? Okay, no.
Yeah, just read this text. Yes,
Right? Just
text
read this
to what is
part.
it? Text to voice? Yes.
Sure.
read it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
So,
I haven't
an
done the
option.
pick up and, switcheroo type thing. So that was my attempt to focus.
Gotcha.
Um, and so then next, I was like, okay, now that I've
Like,
dipped
that's
my
not it.
toe, not quite feeling it. What else do we got? Um, I found a graphic audio audiobook, which is multiple character voices.
Oh, right, right. So, like a dramatic reading. Got it.
And yeah, and like sound effects in the background and like different people for different characters. So it's not because also when you have, oh, this is going to be all over the place, but like the narrator really makes it, you know? And if
Yeah,
you get a very dull narrator and then they start to like change voices for different characters, you're like, that's not it. That's the voice you used for so and so. Or like, oh my God, please, could we not maybe do this voice, you know?
yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's go the other extreme and we'll try these graphic audio. And they're like, it's a movie in your mind.
I
And
don't
I'm
hate
like,
that.
okay, let's do it. So I actually did this with Akatar.
Right.
And this is the one that I realized I was like cutting out pattern pieces, cutting out my material, like very mindless. You're just kind of doing, you're
Right.
not really thinking. And so I found that I could put my audio book in my ear and I'd start my patterning and cutting out, and then I'd just turn it up a little louder when I had to actually sew.
Right.
Um, and my so ACOTAR is actually broken up into 2 books, and
For
the
the first
first one
one.
was like
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
so the first one was 2 audiobooks.
Okay.
So it was like 6.5 hours, and I didn't
For
think that
each
I
of
would get
them?
through it. The first one was 6.5, and the second half was like 8 hours, I think.
Okay. Because I'm seeing a lot of books are like 14 hours of listen time, which is crazy
Yeah,
because I read a book in less than 14 hours.
maybe, maybe
I
not.
I know I typically do. It doesn't, if I'm reading a couple hours a day, it doesn't take me a whole week to finish a book. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
can sit and finish
interesting.
a 300-page book in a couple hours.
Yeah.
So I just find it interesting because when I look at it and it's like, hey, it's this
Yeah.
much time, I'm like, I don't have
This
22
is
hours to listen.
yeah, this is
Right.
a lot of time.
Right.
No, but that first part, it was only like 6.5. And
Okay.
so I only had the first half because I didn't think it would take me that long and I didn't want to reserve the other one and. And
Right.
so I legit was sewing like one Saturday and then I was like, "Oh,
It
my
had
book
stopped.
is done." Yeah.
Like, no, there's still more to come.
Yeah, and I'm like, "We're halfway through." Like, and now I have to reserve it and get on a wait list. It didn't take
I'm,
long. It
okay,
didn't
good.
take long, but,
But still.
but I'm like, "Oh, well, I need this for tomorrow now." And so I've actually reserved a couple of them. I'm not loving ACOTAR itself, but that's not the audiobook experience, it's the book
Right.
itself. But I
Right. Did
did
you
get
finish the
book
second
2.
half? Oh, you got book
I
two. Okay.
Yes, yes, I am on book 2 now.
Okay.
I think I'm like an hour in. So,
Okay. I find book two
yeah.
to be better than book one, but that's just me. And I'm
Okay.
wondering if I would like it more if I listened to it with different characters. Because I gave all the characters voices in my own head. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so
okay.
I'm
So,
enjoying that. I think I found my sweet spot of like because also I really enjoy consuming books. And if
yes.
I have to actually read one while I'm listening to one, like I'm like this kind of defeats the purpose. But if I could be reading a book or listening to a
Yeah.
book while
Yeah.
I'm doing other things, ooh, we love that.
Which counts as consuming a book, and I put it on my list and I count it as a book read, right? Like my brain was
Yes.
still doing the work of reading, the work of imagining and putting together and,
Yeah.
making my own connection. So I count it.
And I was still doing other things. So
That's fair.
not stuck to my little reading nook. So yeah, I think I found my sweet spot.
I have to try the dramatic reading because I have not, right? So I've done a couple, like, I've done probably more nonfiction than fiction, which is also probably my issue.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, there's not so much you can get into. with a nonfiction book. You're just kind of reading it, right? You're just kind of listening to it.
Yeah.
You're listening to it for the purpose of learning something,
It is the
essentially,
story. Yes.
versus the enjoyment of, you know, the narrative itself, the enjoyment of
Being
whatever the world is.
entertained.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I think I mentioned in the last episode that I read the most recent one I did was As You Wish, which was basically a behind the scenes book about The Princess Bride. And so it went through
Yes.
all of from casting through things that happened on the set, through injuries, through like little tidbits about each of the characters in real life, and um, the how it went through. You hear from the director, you hear from several of the characters, you hear, so that like that's probably as close as I've gotten to the dramatic reading, right? But it was the actual characters, right? The
Yeah.
guy who played Indigo Montoya, he's on there talking about all of the fencing lessons they took, and Carrie's talking about all the fencing lessons he took because they wanted this to be the most epic sword fight that had been on screen. And so like the weeks and months of time, like you're hearing all this, and how Carrie broke his foot during filming because he was on Andre the Giant's four-wheeler. And like, it's all of this stuff that you never know. And then you go back and you watch the movie and you're like, oh, I can see right there.
Oh, I
He's not
see
putting
it
pressure
now.
on that foot because it's literally broken. Like they have
Yes.
shoved that foot so far into that boot that he's never getting it off. Like it's the whole thing, right? And the fact you learn a lot. I mean, unfortunately, when this book was written, published, narrated, Andre the Giant had already passed. And so you don't get to hear from him, but you get to hear a lot about how wonderful of a person he is. So, like, that has been the most enjoyable book I've had. But I think it's because, again, you've got all of the different people. So it's not
Yeah.
necessarily a telling of a story, but it was more of like interviews where it's like, oh,
Mhm.
when I was doing this thing, here's how I felt about it. And here's, the experience. And this is why it was so important to me. And like all of that kind of stuff was really cool. But I know the
Yes.
first book I ever did was High Magic by Damien Eccles.
Mhm.
And I did enjoy that one. It was a little harder to get through, but I enjoyed it simply for the fact that it was narrated by the author,
It was in
right?
his
And so
voice.
so
Yes.
Damien read it. So it was read exactly the way that he wanted it to be done.
Mhm.
Ocean Vuong did the same thing. I listened to that one, and so it was narrated by him. That one was also a little bit harder because it was a bit deeper and it was
Mhm.
like poetry, right? And so it was a little bit different of an audiobook. I have I have a fantasy book that I started. It's called The
Okay.
Serpent. It's called The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, and I hear a lot of people really love it. I just I don't think I like vampires, and so I think that might be my
Mm.
problem, right? So I think I have to
Yeah.
find something, and it's not a dramatic retelling. It is just a narration, which is
Just
fine,
a
and her
narration.
voice is great.
Yeah.
The narrator's voice is great, but I'm not hearing like there's other characters in there, and you're just hearing it all in this one woman's voice, and I'm like, which is cool, but
Yeah.
I kind of want to hear what the vampire sounds like. But also, every
Yeah.
time I read a vampire book, I'm like, I don't think I like vampire books. Like, I like a lot of
I
other
mean,
things, but
I'm
I
not
think I
sure.
might not be a vampire gal, which is
You're not
interesting.
a vampire girly.
I don't think I'm a
Yeah.
vampire girly. I don't think I'm a mafia girly. I'm learning these things because I'm reading some of the other stuff, and I'm like, I don't know that I'm into the mafia thing. So,
Okay.
right, but I think I might need to go look. And have I used Libby? No. Should I? Probably. I have a library card, and I'm wondering if some of the books I have on my shelf that I really want to get to, could I maybe
Yes.
replace some of the true crime, which probably isn't awesome for the mental health. I mean, I can't imagine consuming a lot of that is safe. Maybe replacing some of that with some of these other books that I have that I really like.
Yeah, that you're super interested in. And that's kind of how
Right?
it started for me. I was like, I have so many books on my shelf, but I don't feel like I have the time to just sit and read for
Right.
hours and hours and hours. So I was like, okay, can I maybe get through some of these books that I want to read
Yeah.
while I'm doing mundane things and like enrich my life with more
Right.
books?
Right.
But I'm very curious actually, because now that you're saying that, the books, okay, so I think the big world books with the different characters, I'm thinking ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, those kind of things might be
Right.
better with a full cast because there
Mm-hmm.
are a lot more people. But I also just listened to One by One by Frida McFadden. Um, so good. That was one narrator.
Okay.
Um, there were several characters, but it was more of a just a fiction story, like
Okay.
a thriller murder mystery
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, but
Highly
one. I mean,
recommend. Her for You, you would love.
I would
P.S.
love
By
that.
the way. Yes,
Perfect. I
yes,
shall
you
write
might
that
like
down.
that.
You said Frida McFadden?
Yeah, I think
Okay, perfect.
the biggest things I heard from her were like the housemaid secrets,
Maybe.
something.
Sure.
I'm
No,
sorry, but that was the big one. I
Google
think it's the
exists. It's good.
housemaid.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
So
it
that's
sounds, but
one.
that's the thing. I need more book time. I did
Hmm.
I did take off yesterday. So I had a really busy week at work, right? I did take off yesterday for the express purpose of reading. Because I had a
And
couple
did
arcs that I
you?
needed to finish. I did. I did. I read most of
Okay.
it until the
I'm
kids came home from
like,
school.
this could go
I
downhill
No,
quickly.
I did. I did a good job because I had a couple of I had to give some notes on a beta read. I had to finish an arc read because I have to post about it. Like those sorts of things. Trying to keep to the schedule that I've given myself, which is terrible because you apply for things because you're like not everybody's going to pick you, so you apply for a couple things, and now I have 21 arc reads that need to be done before the end of October. So huh, that's a thing. Um, but I was like, I'm going to take the day, like, and just kind of. I actually put on like a little ambiance video on
Hmm.
my television. So like there was like a crackling fire in the background. I just like sat there in a blanket and was like, all right, let's get this done.
Yes.
But it would be nice to have been able to go about my day. Like I have other things and chores and stuff that needs to be done. Like I would love to replace like laundry folding time with being able to add a book to it. So
Yes. You'll have
sounds
to
like
try.
yes.
You've got homework.
I have homework, but that's the thing, and I know I'm woefully under experienced in this area, right? Because there are certain things that and the thing is, I've found several things that I do like. I just don't go
Mhm.
back to them consistently. I think it's because I
Yeah.
keep going back to the bookstore instead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe if I stop going to the bookstore, I
Stop
can do
doing
better.
that. See if you can
And that's the
find.
other thing. I don't want to pay for Audible, right? Because I feel like every time I pay for Audible, I get like a book and then I have other books that I'm reading. I feel like there's such like constraints. And nothing
Hmm.
bad about Audible. It's just I don't think it works for the way that I read books
Yeah.
because I'll have it and
I
then if you
have
don't
heard
like
that.
if you cancel it or if you don't read it or like you don't have a credit or something, you have to re-up or engage with that subscription in order to listen to a story that I downloaded before. And I'm like, never mind. Never mind.
Yes.
So I think Libby might be the way to go.
I would say try Libby. I also had a friend who I think she was on Spotify, and you get like 15 hours of like free.
Yes.
And so that's how that she actually went through the ACOTAR series that way, but she would have to
Mm.
wait because the books were like, right over that
Yes.
18 or 20 or 22, and
Yes.
she's like, "Nah, we're gonna wait." And I don't love when things tell me what to do.
I don't like being restricted, but now that you
I
mention that, somebody else told me the same thing.
Yeah.
Over the summer,
Yeah.
she was doing some field work for college, and she couldn't like you can't be on your phone the whole time because you're literally like out there observing things. So on like her hike up to wherever it was and on, her walk back and while she was sitting there waiting, she actually ended up going through almost a list of banned books, not on purpose, but she did like I think she did 1984, I think she did Fahrenheit 451, I think she went through and did, Animal Farm. She did a bunch of those in audiobook through
Mhm.
Spotify. And
Mhm.
because she got it through like the college thing, she was
Uh-huh.
able to, listen for a certain amount. And she had mentioned that she was like, I think I ran out, like I have to wait until next
And
month
now
or
I have to
whatever. And
wait. Yes.
yes. And part of
And
me is
you're
like,
like,
do you need a
"That
birthday gift?
sucks."
Because, yeah, but
Yeah.
like you can, like giving the gift of audiobooks via Spotify sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But
But again,
I totally
like,
forgot about that until you mentioned
if
it.
you're not done, yeah, if you're not done with it, like, now you have to wait and like now you're on someone else's terms. I hate that. I mean, I guess with Libby, I mean, you might have a wait list.
But at least I'm not waiting to
So,
finish the book. Like, when I get the book, I can read
right.
the book, right? If you
Right.
tell me that I went over my hours and I'm in, like, the middle of chapter 14, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be like, "What do you mean
Yes.
I can't finish this chapter? Like, that seems rude. At least have an option to finish the chapter and then, like, just
Yes.
take those from my next month." I don't know. I don't know.
Well, and the way we consume books, like, can you imagine on the first of the month, you're like, yeah, I'm starting this book, and you get through it and you like listen to it in 2 days, and then you're like, I
I
now
know.
have a full month that I have to wait.
To wait, and that would
Let's
be
not. Let's
bananas.
just not.
No. At that point, I'm going to get the book and reading it myself because I'll forget. In the next
Right?
28 days, I'm
Which
gonna forget.
okay, but how weird is that? You're like, "I'm not paying for Spotify, but I'll go buy the book."
But I'll go buy the book.
Like,
Well,
hold on, wait.
here's the thing though, I just don't count buying books. I don't count buying books, right? I don't count that, and that's the thing that my kids have figured out because they were like, "Hey," I said, an order came in or whatever, and I was like, "Oh," I gave my oldest a new book, and he was like, "Oh, I really like this series." I was like, "Cool." So I actually downloaded the book onto my Kindle for book 2, and I gave it to him, and I was like, "Hey, here you go. Here's book 2," because we were out on vacation, and he was like, "I don't really like reading on your phone," and I was like, I get it. Like, you're a kid, you want to hold the book in your hand. And so I went ahead and just like bought a crap ton of the actual books. Granted, I got them on a discount, but I bought a crap ton of them and just like, and he was like, that's like the whole series. And I was like, yeah, here you go. And he was like, but you always say no to Robux. And I was like, yeah, because that's Robux. This is books. Like, I'm not going to say no to books. I'm going to say no to like,
Totally different.
right.
Yes.
I'm going to say no to Fortnite dollars, but I'm definitely going to say yes to books. And I say yes to books for me too. So it's a full family fairness there.
Problem? Okay.
It's not a
Okay, yes.
problem. It's not a problem.
Not a problem. But yeah,
No.
so that's I'm like, yes, I'm in on Libby, and if you're in California, it's California Bookshelf, and pop it in your ears and
Right?
keep reading. Keep
I
going.
also wonder, there's got to be, and I mean, people are talking on social things all the time about books and reading and all this stuff. I need to find a list of like really good narrators because I have no idea who a good narrator is.
Mm,
People are like, oh, I
yeah,
love so and so. I'm like, who is that? Like, I don't know who these narrators are because I feel like the narrator does make
it make
or
or
break
breaks.
the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I think there was somebody I had watched on TikTok before, JC, I think her name is, and she does Hell's Bells. It's like a whole skit, a whole family of people that she's made that it's literally just her, and she wrote a book with it. And I believe she also got an audiobook done, and it does have different characters in it. So I actually was kind of waiting to see if I want to get that one
Yeah.
because she had put a couple of like teasers of like what it sounded like, and I was like, oh, that sounds like something I could listen to. You know what I mean? Like his voice was great, her voice was great, like for the characters, the different characters that she had, because we've been the past however many years, if you watched her content, you've just been consuming her voice as these different characters, and so it's kind of cool to
Mm-hmm.
see that put to something else. But I would love to find, if anybody has this, happy to take it in any of my DMs or tag or something, a list of
Yes.
narrators, audiobook narrators that you love. I would
Yes.
love that because that I feel like would be a cool place to start. And actually, The Serpent and the Wings of Night is one that people are like, "Oh, this narrator is great." I think I just might prefer the dramatic retelling or the graphic
Yeah.
retelling. I think I might prefer that over just a one person thing for a fantasy story, right?
Yeah, probably for a fantasy story. That's kind of what I was like thinking too,
Yeah,
where you just have a little bit more of a world.
yeah,
Whereas like a story could be okay
yeah. If
with
it's
the
one,
narrator.
yeah, I can think of like The Secrets of Flowers that I read by Sally Page. I feel like that's told by one narrator, so it's cool to have just one person read that. But
Yeah.
reading, a book that's got two, like a dual POV, I need two people, right? I don't want the girl telling me the boys part. So I think I need two people for that one, which is funny because I talked to an author who was looking for a narrator, an audiobook narrator, and she was talking about how she's like, I gotta find somebody who's got his correct voice. And like I know what voice
Right.
I want for her, but I need somebody who matches the vibe that I had when I wrote him so that I can do that. And I was like, that makes so much sense.
That would be so stressful. Oof.
Right?
Jeez.
Right?
So stressful.
To try and find that. I will also say I would love someday to be an audiobook narrator, but I don't know that I could do voices, right? I think I would just have to be the normal one that I don't even like. And so I was like, I don't think I can do it. Unless you were like, hey,
I
that is your voice is the voice that I imagined for my character. I would read that. Sure. Happy to do
yeah,
that.
just in yours.
Right? Just do your voice for this girl because she matches. Cool. Love that. Well, that means I get to read exactly one book for you. Because
Yeah. There
right?
won't be multiples. That's all you're getting. And I
You
can't even do accents. They come out terribly and I would piss off a lot of people.
right?
So
Maybe we
no, thank you.
start a bad audiobook thing where we just do bad accents on purpose and people listen to the book because they know the accents are bad and that's part of the fun. I
Because
think we could be
they
good at that.
know it's going to be bad. I could do that. I could
I
do
could
that.
do
But you're still
just
only gonna get one. I
right,
end
but I
up
could do
going like
bad
Mexican pirate.
bad accent books.
Bad accent audiobooks.
Right? I think that could be a thing. I wonder if that exists. It should exist somewhere.
I'm seeing the logo, BAAB, but like a mirror.
Right? I don't hate it.
Well, we
I
got
don't hate it.
ideas.
Right? We got, and the thing is, the thing I'm taking away from this is that I need to figure out exactly what type of audiobook I like and start throwing them in my ears because I have a lot of stuff to do around here. Right?
Hmm,
We
hmm.
got it's hard to go to practice and to sit there and look up and down, while they're playing or they need
Yes,
this or that, and
that
it
could be
would kind of be
good.
nice, right? Just to
Yes.
throw it in my ears while we're at a football or so. I mean, softball practice is like 2 hours long. I
We
could
can just
get
watch and nod.
right. I could get through a book in 3 practices because I'm putting it on like 1.5.
Hmm.
If you talk too slow, I'm speeding it up a little bit because
We're going a little faster. We ain't got
right
time. We ain't got time
again,
for this.
again, I don't need a chipmunk in my ear, but sometimes we need a little bit faster pacing.
Hmm.
It's also the way I watch videos
And
on my phone. That
that's the
if you
beauty
can
of
just
it.
thumb that, yep, make it go
Yeah.
faster.
And I think that's the thing that I'm realizing now is like there's so many ways to audiobook. And it's like it's not a one size fits all like you can. There's different speeds, there's different styles, like there's so many options. And I think that's what I wasn't understanding when we first started looking at this. But now
Oh,
I'm like, ooh, more to
I did
explore.
not I did not understand it until you talked about it today. So I appreciate you.
Fabulous.
Because all of a
Yes.
sudden I'm like, oh, I do have homework. Like I do have things I need to look at because I've just been doing willy nilly and I'm just annoyed at Audible, so I don't use it. And
Avoid, avoid. Yes.
right. So I need to pop over to Spotify or check,
Get
I have
Libby.
YouTube, right,
Try
Libby, and I
that.
wonder if like YouTube Music has something that does books of that nature, right? Because
Hmm.
I have a YouTube Music
Yeah.
subscription, so like maybe that's a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have things to find out. I have
Now
things
you
to
have
do,
to
which is
find the
great,
way you like to audiobook.
right? I'll have to
I
report back
love
on that
it.
later because we know the ways I
Yes.
don't like to audiobook.
Yeah. So tell us how you like to audiobook because maybe there's things that I haven't even experienced yet. I'm very new to this world, but so far I'm finding things that work for me. And I think that's what this journey is all about, right? Like you find what works for you.
Yeah, and I want to say I will have to go back and look at the dates, but I think this is our 1 year episode.
What?
I think we've been doing this for a full year as of this episode. Like I'll have to go back and like
It's close. You're
I
right.
I think it's like I actually think the day we're recording this is our 1 year.
Oh my God.
Right? So what
Happy 1 year. Wait, wait,
yay.
wait. Cue the confetti.
Yes. The clapping. No, but
What does this
I
one do? Yeah.
we're gonna
All
do
the
them all.
celebrations.
Right? But it's been a and I only think that because we have come so far in the 1 year that we've been talking about this publicly, because we've been talking about this for years. But in the 1 year we've been talking about this in like a really strategic way, I guess, I have become such a different reader. Like
Yes.
I went from reading, 5 or 6 books a year to over 50. Like that's a bananas change just in and of
Mhm.
itself. And the books I
Mhm.
read are different and the community that we're creating is different and it's just so cool to have people who want to like chat with us about it and who want to listen to us blab about the experiences that we have and to be like, yes, that makes sense to me, or no, like that's nuts. Like I love hearing both sides of it. So just
Yes.
thinking and reflecting on that, we appreciate everybody who's here.
Yes. And if you are not subscribed, do it now
Subscribe in
because subscribing
25.
in 25 and we've been here a year.
We
So
have.
like if you haven't subscribed by now, come on. Come
What are
on.
you waiting
Give
on?
us give us your subscribe. Give us some thumbs
Exactly.
up. We'll get some more fireworks.
We're earning the fireworks here. Yeah, and anything that you have that you want to share that you've seen, or, if you've got a comment or something, it's great to be here on the channel or over on our Instagram or our threads, all those places that we check regularly. And I don't know, we just appreciate having you all here and allowing us to book blab.
Book blab.
Book blab.
That was beautiful. Yeah, I loved that.
We like book blabbing.
Yes, that's what we do.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you for
So,
being here. Excited to
indeed.
see where this next part of our journey takes us. A whole
Yeah,
year. Wow.
right? A whole year of books,
What will we change our mind on in this time next year?
right?
Because
All of a sudden,
now audiobooks are in.
right? They were not in last year. So, are they going to be in
Not
again
in.
next year?
But
Who knows?
now we're all in. So,
Right? And
yes.
watch us be like next year. It's like, oh, I'm only doing audiobooks and all of the books on my shelf are, just trophies,
Yeah.
which I'd be fine with either way.
They're
But,
decor.
right? But love that for us. Love that for everybody here and appreciate you being here until we see you next week. Because again, we are back with weekly episodes, obviously. Happy
Back,
reading.
back.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Goodbye. It was great to have you join us for today's chat. If you'd like to continue the conversation, provide a recommendation, or simply say hi, pop over to Instagram at wine.read.wine or leave us a comment on our YouTube channel. We'll see you on the next episode. Happy reading!